Hi, I wanted to share a thought of the day with a Bible verse. Um, do you know how sometimes you feel like nothing is going well and you're spinning your wheels and like the job that used to be easy, that you used to love, but all of a sudden it's just taking like everything in you just to get up in the morning and get there. And you feel like you just don't have the energy for it anymore. I want to put this question out there. When that happens to me, the first thing, and it could be any circumstance, like uh, anything that you're trying to do, trying to accomplish, that somehow to ask these two questions actually: are you in the right season, and has the grace left this? In other words, I think there's a time and a season for everything. Like for relationships, I've discerned that sometimes there's a time and season for jobs, and I've seen it many times in my life, my siblings' life, that if you stay too long in the wrong place, it's not going to end well. So I have this Bible verse. It's um chapter 3, verse 8. And it may seem like I'm picking at it because I pulled a word out. um to me, who am less than least of all the saints, this grace was given. And I want you to pay attention to that. This grace was given that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ Jesus. Well, the person's talking, this is Ephesians. I hope I didn't say Galatians. Anyway, this is Ephesians 3, verse 8. And it's Paul talking. And he's talking that he was given the power, the authority, because I've researched that word, and I think it's a Greek word, and it actually translates to, I'm not going to go too deep, to power. That God had given him the power to do something. He had given him the power to preach the gospel to the Gentiles. But I've noticed that in the Bible, that it's not, the things that God gave the apostles is not limited to the apostles. God giving us the grace, giving us the power is a thing. And I've seen people do amazing things that were really beyond their ability when God empowers you, anoints you to do something. So this is what I'm trying to point out, that sometimes there's a season for something. And when you feel like you're hitting a wall, you really have to ask yourself, or ask God and pray, ask God, am I supposed to be here anymore? Is there somewhere else you want me to be? Just make it a habit when things feel like they change. Because there's nothing worse than watching I have a sister who's a believer too, and I've watched her like push her head like she's hitting a wall through something, when I know that her season has changed, but she had to take the time to figure that out. But she was determined to stay there, and it always ended up not working well for her. So, and in the end, she did move, and all that pressure left. So, I don't want to say which one it is, so I don't want to get in trouble. But I've seen that, and that's happened to me too. And sometimes, sometimes God's just done with something, and He wants you to move somewhere else. And if we're stubborn and we don't recognize that, we can miss our blessings. We can miss the better things that God has for us. And I really don't believe, I think sometimes we stay in the same place out of fear, and we're not to live by fear. You know, there's a Bible verse that says, we have not been given the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So that's another way to measure something. Are you staying there out of fear? I know we're called to use wisdom in all things. So I just want to encourage you to be in prayer and really let God guide you, because you'll find out throughout your long life of walking with the Lord that God will guide you, He will direct you. And even if you make a mistake, He shows up there too, all the more. So I hope this blesses somebody, and I wanted to encourage you today. And as always, I'm praying for you. Thank you for watching.